So what this is a rear view mirror camera with a dash cam. The view out of the back end of this thing really sucks. It has this big space that splits the hatch windows and it blocks the majority of the view out of the back end. Now this isn't a huge deal. Every car I've had in the past has had a backup camera though. So I really wanted to put one in this, but because I'm using the tablet as a head unit, I wasn't quite sure how I was gonna actually put one in. But I saw this thing online and it seemed perfect because not only is it a rear view camera, but it also has a dash camera, which I've wanted to get for a while anyways. The concept of this thing seemed really cool. So I went ahead and decided to pick one up because I wanted to give it a try. So real fast, this is the rear view mirror. This is the back end of it. The cool thing about this is it actually installs over your rear view mirror, so you don't have to uninstall the other one. It just uses some of these, they're basically like rubber bands, and so it just wraps around your existing rear view mirror. And this is the dash cam that it has. This thing actually moves out and is adjustable, which you might need to do just depending on the size of your rear view mirror. But with this thing, it actually has an internal battery, so although you plug it into your car when your car is off, it has an internal battery. So if someone were to crash into your car or do anything to your car, it's supposed to have a sensor so that it automatically starts recording. This is the rear view camera. It's supposed to be 2K resolution, and as you can see, it has plenty of wire. You should be able to run this in a truck without needing an extension or anything like that. And then for now, I decided I'm not gonna hardwire in right now. This is just a cigarette lighter plug adapter, just in case, until I decide if I'm going to keep it or not. The only thing I'm concerned about is getting it up through, because it's a hatch. I have to run the backup camera wire up through here. I already have one wire going through here because I installed this trunk LED light to give me a whole lot more light in the back at night, because this little light just doesn't cut it. And then I'm gonna have to figure out exactly where I'm gonna put the camera back here. I'm thinking right just above the license plate, which does mean I'm gonna have to drill a hole right through here. It would be cool to put it a little higher, like up here, just so I can get a little better view. But we'll see once I get the panel off how hard that would be. But honestly, I think this is a good spot. But the only thing is I'll have to offset it a little bit just because the trunk latch is right here. So it would have to be on like the side or something. So it would be really cool if I could fit it like right here, right below the light right here. So to get this thing installed, I need to start pulling panels. I'm gonna show a time lapse of that real fast just because every car is different. But as soon as I get all the panels pulled, I'll go ahead and show you how I'm gonna route all the wiring, and hopefully we'll get it all installed today, and I'll be able to show you how it works, and we'll be able to mess with it a little bit. Alright you guys, as you can see, I have all the trim removed. Luckily in the Prius it's actually really easy to remove it all. I literally took 3 bolts out and the rest was just the little plastic popper things. The only reason you have to remove all of this trim is to run this little backup camera here. Luckily it is just the one wire, so it'll be super easy to do. And they use really small thin connectors. You don't need a big fat hole to get the wire to go through. So I'm going to grab some zip ties. I'm going to start running that wire, and then I'm going to mount the rear view camera and run the power wire to that. And then I'll button everything else back up except for the hatch, and then I'll drill the hatch and plug the camera in and get that mounted where I want it, just because I kind of need the rear view mirror installed to be able to figure out where exactly I want the camera to be mounted. But then once I figure that out, all I have to do is drill that in, bolt it in, and then button the hatch up and it'll be all done. So I ran into a little bit of a problem. As you know, I decided to run the rear view camera cable down along the floorboard, and run it through all the trim instead of trying to mess with the headliner and get it through the headliner. Because I chose to do it that way, as you can see, I really don't have all that much cable left after going all the way through. If the car wasn't a hatchback, it'd probably have just enough room to reach the rear view camera, but unfortunately it doesn't. I was originally going to put it right above the license plate because that's usually where rear view cameras go. That's probably where I prefer it, but because it was so short, I went ahead and took the wing off. It's back on now, but I took it off to see if I could actually get it through and if it'd fit up there, which I can get it through and it will fit up there, but I think it'll be a little bit too high. So what I've decided to do is I am gonna put it right above the license plate, and I think that'll be the perfect spot for it. But because this cable is too short, and the Prius is already a really short vehicle, so if you have a truck or anything like that, you're definitely gonna want to get some extra cable. But because this cable is so short, I did go ahead and purchase an extension cable, which has been delivered, so I need to go grab that real fast. So let's just make sure that this guy is actually going to plug in to the backup camera wire. It should be the same wire. But this is a 6.5 foot extension just off of Amazon. It had really good reviews, so it should work fine. We really only needed like a couple feet, but 6.5 will give us plenty of room to kind of maneuver the camera around and find out exactly where we want it, and we won't have to worry about running out of any wire anymore. So like I said, if you have a truck or anything, I mean honestly, if you're buying this, I would just buy the extension just to make sure it's like $10 extra off of Amazon, and it'll save you time so you won't have to wait when you find out that you don't have enough room. But like I was saying, if you ran it through the headliner, you probably would have enough room, but because I didn't want to mess with that, I just wanted to do it through the floorboard and go through all the trim. I do need the extra extension. So let's get this thing plugged in. I'll go ahead and route it, and then we just need to drill for the camera, pull the license plate, and get that mounted, and then we'll be able to test it out and see if the whole thing works. Really didn't need all that much. The normal stock cord ended right here, and we only needed like maybe like 1.5 feet, maybe 2 feet to get to where I wanted to put it above the license plate. But now we have all this extra, so if we want to move it around. But like I was saying, if you had a truck or a vehicle that's longer, because the Prius is so short, you definitely need an extension. And they have 10-foot plus extensions as well. And they only run like 10 to 15 bucks. So I think it's worth it just to get it when you get the kit, just to be on the safe side, because you're probably gonna need it. Let's get this license plate removed. We'll get the camera mocked up, get the license plate removed, and we'll drill in and get the whole thing mounted up. Guys, it's all mounted. I think I have it at the right angle so I can use it as like a rear view camera and a backup camera. It's slightly angled down, but as you can see, I think I got it pretty much centered. The cool thing about this is that the Prius hatch opening button is actually off put to the side a little bit, so I just have to reach in here, grab it with these fingers. It's not on this side is just blank, so I can just reach in right here, and then it unlocks it, it opens it up. I don't know if you can see it right in there, but right back here, it's just drilled through. It has some double-sided tape on the back of the camera mount, And then it also is mounted with a couple screws on each side. I will get like a gasket or something just to fill in the hole, or I'll use some silicone or something like that just to make sure that no water or moisture or anything like that is getting through. I have all the wiring bunched up right here, just zip tied out of the way. I might have to move it actually now that I think about it. I just kind of threw it up there, but to get the panel back on, there should be plenty of room, but we'll see. Now this camera does come with a reverse sensing wire that you can wire up into your reverse lights so that it'll sense when you put it into reverse. I'm not going to do it that way just because if you don't hook it up, it'll record both the rear view and the front camera at the same time all the time, versus just having it record the front camera as like a dash camera and then just using the rear camera as a rear view mirror backup camera. But I want to record both just in case. I think it'll be better. Plus all the reviews that I read, the settings for the cameras are pretty extensive, so you can just set it to record constantly, and once the SD card fills up, it'll just start rewriting all the really old stuff. So that way, if anything ever does happen to your car while it's sitting or anything like that, or if you're rear-ended or something like that, you'll have that footage in the back as well. But this thing's all done. Let's get this closed. Start the car up and see how it works. I'll angle this way just so that you can see a little bit better, but let's start it up and see how it works.
Welcome to Vantop.
And there it is. I do need to throw a SD card in there, and I don't know if you can, how well you can see that. The camera is upside down, so let's see if we can change that. But apparently you can't switch it, so I just need to go back there. I'll flop the camera right side up, then I'll go grab a memory card too, and we'll pop it in, and we can do some testing. Alright, so I mounted it a little bit different to be able to turn the camera around and have it angled down to be able to use it as a backup camera as well as a rear view camera. But camera's right side up now, and I have an SD card in there, and this thing's actually pretty cool. I can't really tell right now because in front of my garage, like the dynamic range of the camera doesn't necessarily seem the best. But we'll see how it looks while driving around. But the cameras actually have a little bit of play. You can hold right here, and then you can actually angle it down or up. So you can have it like straight on, or if you need to see lower down behind your car, you can angle it down, which is really cool. And both the front and the back cameras do that, go up and down. And then the front one, actually on the front, the little lens, you can actually move it around. So once you get the camera in place in the car, how you're gonna sit, you can move that around so it's pointed straight on. But this thing has a ton of settings and customizability. You can go in here, you can change the resolution. Only one camera can do the 2K resolution, and then the other camera is gonna be 1080, but you get to choose if you wanna have it be your front camera or your back camera. You can do loop recording every 1 minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. You can do a whole bunch of different like parking modes. So it'll basically, so right now it's off. So the mirror has a G sensor in it. So if your car gets hit, it'll start recording because this thing does have an internal battery. So, which, let me show you right here. It has a battery level right up here, and it shows it's charging right now. So it'll record if it senses that you get hit while your car's parked and off. Something I found out right here is if the streaming media is on, then when you turn the car on, it'll automatically go to the back camera. If streaming media is off, it'll automatically go to the front camera. But yeah, this thing's pretty sick. You can, oh, I need to format the memory card. Let me format it real fast. Come in here, we'll just hit format SD. And quick format, do confirm. Now it is formatted. Let's go back. And that's just because I put a memory card in that I've been using for my camera every once in a while, and so it had stuff on it, so it just needed to be formatted. But as you can see right there, it is recording, so it'll record constantly in that minute loop playback. I'll probably change it to a 3 minute just in case. So basically it'll just keep on recording and until the memory card's full, and then it'll start overriding itself. But that way you'll never lose any data or anything. If you were to get into an accident or something like that, it's not going to automatically, it doesn't rewrite the same file over and over again. You'll still have a lot of space in between. Overall, I'm actually really happy with this thing. I'm excited to see how it works in real life. I'll go ahead and drive around a little bit and kind of live with it for a little bit and see how it acts. Go ahead and let me know what you think about it. Do you think this is something that you would find useful? I think it's really cool, especially because the big blind spot in the middle back there. So I think this thing is really useful, and I think backup cameras are really useful in general anyways. But yeah, so let me know what you guys think. But that's all I have for you guys for this video, so I'll see you in the next one.